Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber here, and today I'm gonna try to give you a little demo of Firefly Misbehavin. And this will be a demo, not a tutorial. They have a nice rule book here, colored there, and then they also have a very nice quick start guide to help you get started with that. This is a deck builder. I have quite a few of those in my collections. I'll try to show you a little bit of what each player gets before we get going on the demo. Each player is going to get their own tableau, which is called their display area. Okay, and it's going to be put on the play area. Okay, but there's going to be enough room above it. I'll bring these back down in a minute. But I just wanted to just show you something. And so there's going to be enough room. So when they play a card up there, this is called their command area. There's enough room to play it above their tableau. Okay. Okay. So let's bring this back down again. You'll get the okay. The game that each player is also going to get a deck of cards, 10 cards. I'm going to use these two. I'll show you the other two also. There's Serenity, Niska, Alliance, and Ease Down. For today's demo, I'll just be using Niska and there. And but I wanted to show you, they each have their own verse card. All right, but they're all different. Now, okay, here's two verse tokens for an activation, two for an activate, two for an activate. But here's three for an activation. But then you go down here for two, you can get to draw one card, and here you get to re-trigger a card. Here you get to issue a warrant. Here you get to reset a card. So all of their abilities for verse tokens are different. So that requires some planning which way you want to go on that. On the top up here, on the right hand side is a two column. This is called the supply board. People will be able to buy these at paying for this cost down here using that there. And on this board here, when this pile is gone, it's gone. There are no more. Now over here, we have three set. We have assets. What do we call them? I can't remember that. We have a border deck, a core deck, a rim deck, and a border deck. Okay. Players are going to get to be able to buy these with their costs using this here. And when say this one is bought, another card is just flipped over and it's replaced. So, and each player, gets to start with one verse token from their faction and one credit. This token here, if you see it out on the board, where's my hand going? This is a fight token. It's not owned by anybody yet. Okay, so when a player gets it's their turn, I'm just going to try to set this up. I'll put this up here so you can see it anyway. When they get their turn, they're going to draw five. They're going to shuffle their cards, and then they're going to draw 5 cards. Put the other part here where it says deck, and then they're going to get to do 4 things, up to 4 things, but they can only do each one once. The things that they can do once are activations, recruitment, and verse acquisition. That's getting more of those things here. There is a thing called verse spending, which you can do more than once if you got enough verses to be able to verse tokens to be able to do it. So anyway, first thing I'm going to show you on an activation, they're only allowed to do one activation per turn. And an activation is either playing a card to the tableau, triggering a card in the tableau, or picking a fight or making a deal. All right, I'll try to explain these then there. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the hand. Okay. Okay, we're going to look at this one, brown coat. Okay, and as you can see down here, it's got a little lightning bolt next to it that says draw one card. Okay, so an activation, playing a card to the tableau, and this is an item, says on the bottom what it is. It's got to go into one of these things that's an item. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to teach us too. Victory conditions. Up here in the top left of the tableau, it shows you 14 in a 2-player, 13 in a 3-player, and 12 in a 4-player game. That's the number of points, these points right here, that are on your tableau. So once you get to 14, you can't hide it. You got to tell them ahead of time, because players can nab your cards or take them away and try to keep you from winning the game. There are also, in the game, included with the game, are called episodes. And these cards here give you different victory conditions, different events to take care of and supply, and they'll tell you the different, which ones are the 4 over here that you can use. And this can provide a lot of replayability because there's a bunch of cards. Okay, so that was the activation that he used. Now I wanted to show you one thing right off the bat before I forget. When a player plays a card, is going to play a card to his tableau that has that lightning bolt. He can play it for the activation, and if he does this right now, it's good. He can trigger it, which is an activation, but you're on the first time you do this, the card down, you're allowed to do that. So he would do that. But just maybe a person doesn't want to do that. And I'm going to draw one card, like it says, from my deck into my hand. And why wouldn't they want to do it? Because how they get verse tokens is different for everyone. This is Serenity's. This is have at least one untriggered character in the tableau and discard an untriggered character card from your hand or tableau with a total of at least 4. Okay, and that's these total. So maybe he wants to do that, but let's see what we got. Okay, I don't have a card with a total of at least 4. Okay, so I couldn't do that right now, so I would probably have gone and want to do this. So that's activation. Either playing it down there and triggering it, or later, maybe you didn't do it then. The second time the turn comes around, the next turn, he can trigger this for his activation. Okay. All right, that was activation, and that was triggering a card in there. Now we're gonna say pick a fight. All right, let me get my stuff together here. I think I said that earlier that this up here was the command. This is the display area. That's the space that's open in between them, and this is the command area. So we're going to say that Nishka's turn, and he wanted to pick a fight. So he's going to take that fight token, which I just showed you a little while ago, and put it on the card that he wants to fight with. And at this time, immediately, he must say he's got to also play a card that has the fight symbol on it. Okay, so you're going to play this up there in his display area. Okay, so now people can add cards to their thing. This, first of all, this is the only time that this defense is used right here. After that, the power is used. Okay, so he's going to be using this as the power. And he's got 0, so he needs some help. He's got 1, but because of his defenses too, he's still not winning the battle. So, and when I say he had to say whether he's going to nab or dispatch it, means if he wins the fight and nabs it, he would take that card and put it into his hand. If he wanted to dispatch it, that card would be dispatched to my discard pile over here. in order, and that's the way they can get cards off of your tableau to stop you from winning at that point in time. Okay, so we will be looking at, what did I do? Later hand back up. This is Niska. Unless so, yes. 1, 2, 4, 5. So we're going to look at their hand again, Serenity's hand. And you see, he does have a fight one. All right. So now, this is, who would you want to use? You want to use Malcolm or you want to use Zoe? I kind of like Zoe's card better. I don't want to lose it right away, so I will play Malcolm. This is all up in the display area now up here. Okay, so now we have a total of 2, 4. That beats that 1. So now he says, I got to have some more down here. So he's going to go and play. I'm just using these cards. He's going to play this one. Now he has 4. 3, 4. And he has 4 because of the 2 and then the 2. So Serenity looks at his hand again, says, if I don't play Zoe, I'm most likely going to lose. So plays Zoe to give him a total of 6 now. Niska getting a little bit nervous. I'm going to check here in a second because I think there is a way to pull out of a fight. He's only got 1 fight card. He's only got 1 fight card, and it's only worth a 1. So he's got 5, and he's got 6. And so he would win the fight. Okay. If he won, he would keep the card in his tableau then, because that's where it was when he got attacked. And these would go into his recycle bin. Now, if let's say we're going to say he had won that, they won. Nishka won that one. If they were dispatching it, they would send this card to my recycle bin. I'm getting my cards all mixed up here right now too. They would send this to my recycle bin here. Okay, now if it was going to nab it, they would take that card and place it into their hand, not their recycling, into their hand. So he would have went up there into their hand. Whichever card, I think it was this card I would have played. This would have went into their hand. These would go back into the recycle bin. Okay. Now there is a bonus for winning. The winner also gains one of these rewards. They get to draw another card from their deck. They get to gain 1 credit from the supply. These are pretty important things that can be used later in the game. The rule book will tell you all about those things. Or you can gain 1 of your own verse tokens. Important stuff here. Verse tokens. So that is the fight. Okay. And the last thing you can do in an activation is make a deal. Now, to make a deal, person has to play a deal card. A card. This is the character with this deal symbol, the little blue one, to their tableau. And he's a character, so he would have to go in one of these spaces down here. Okay. Now, here's the number used for recruitment or deals. Is this one here is 2. And what we're talking about is making a deal as an activation. So 2, because you're looking, okay, I can go out without adding anybody else here. I could buy this 2, this 2. And they're pretty high cost there. This 4, this 3. So we're going to say he was really wanting to buy this, get this misbehave. So he needs to get some more out there. So now he's going to have to play a card with the 2, and he doesn't have any. So he would have to play 2 more cards. And this goes into the display area up there. So I'd have to play that one and that one, let's say, just to get that 4 card. And then he would take that 4 card and it would go into the recycling. Player may can't stop his activation, his deal at any time. And when it is canceled, the activation is lost. But the credits or verse tokens used to make the deal are not lost, because you could use verse tokens to add to your your total to help you to buy things. Those are your verse token sets I talked about earlier, so they're important. However, any cards in the current player's display area must immediately be used. You know, not put them in the recycle recruits for a recruitment action if they have one. Okay, if they haven't used their recruitment yet, they gotta use it now if they cancel it. So there's a lot of things in the rule book. That's just the basic of the 4 things for activations. Oh, I screwed up again and forgot to hit the unpause button. So I'm going to try to remember. I hope I'm right at where I'm at. Okay. One of the other things you can do once per turn is recruitment. Recruitment is pretty much the same as making a deal. There are a few things that are a little bit different, but that's what you can do. Because you can do a deal as an action, as an activation, and still do a recruitment. Okay. Because it's different. And then first acquisition, that's just taking these things here, checking and see if you can obtain any more of these verse tokens, which are important. And the last one is verse spending, which you can do over and over, depending on how many of these you got in your bank. All right, so that's it for the uh, the demo in the SoCal Saber stand. Go down, hit the like button, push us out in the social media channels. This is a game that just came out last couple months. Doesn't have a lot of advertisement out there. It does have some. And leave some comments. I probably did make some mistakes. This is just a demo, not a tutorial. So thank you for stopping by. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and stay safe.